Please and thank you. Beautiful. Okay, so a couple things right now. First thing, today I'm going to teach you how to lead a sales call from an actual structure using R.E.D, which is our methodology framework. This framework shows women how to close deals without sounding masculine or scripted or pushy. R.E.D stands for Real, Empowering, Disarming Questions. And this is all built around psychology, neuropsychology, human behavior, feminine leadership. So if you've ever finished a call and you've thought like, damn, like I talked too much or I lost control, I don't know what happened, I don't know what to say next, like this is going to change everything for you. I really believe structure matters in a call. Structure. Masculine structure allows femininity to flow. And sometimes when you get so hung up on a script, you won't allow yourself to kind of go off script a little bit. Because it would be really silly for you to think that every single thing verbatim on your script is going to help you in a call. Because somebody's going to say something on a sales call or sales conversation that you're going to look at the next line of your script and it's going to make no sense to say that based on the curveball they just showed you. So you have to be able to understand the structure and understand what's happening in your prospect's brain as well as your brain to be able to sell in a way that feels still authentic and genuine and really helps your prospect realize that staying the same would cost them more than it would to buy from you. Yes. So structure allows safety for your prospect's nervous system. When you don't have structure, the brain goes into survival mode. Your brain does. You're going to start guessing. You're going to start filling space. You're going to start over accommodating, and your prospect becomes the one that's leading the call. And I see a big mistake that a lot of sales reps make, especially if they've been on or in sales for a long time, is that they start to believe that they know it all. Okay. They become little snobs and they stop with the fundamentals and then they go off script. One thing that I've seen that's really important is like always constantly doing sales call reviews. And sometimes I'll see a sales rep that's been on for a long time. I'll listen to their call review and they brought up some old bad habit that they used to do a year ago and they forgot that they did it, but they're not reviewing their calls anymore. And so therefore this bad habit shows up. It's the same thing if you want to do a call without a structure and you're just kind of guessing it and you're hoping that you can remember everything. Like unless you know this verbatim, where you're like unconsciously competent in it, you still need to have some type of structure in front of you so that you can remind yourself to stay in place. What is an important structure? Being able to understand questions and what chemical reactions they elicit in somebody's brain. Every single question that you ask in sales, depending on the type of question, can elicit an emotional response. So for example, let's say that I'm asking a factual-based question that's just like, tell me the facts. That's not really emotional. I asked a factual-based question, then I ask a question that's supposed to elicit pain. Okay, so now they're in pain. And then I go back to a factual-based question. So now I'm back to neutral. And then I ask them about something in the future. So now they have dopamine, serotonin released in their mind. And then I go back and I ask about pain. What's happening in their brain is that they're going from a calm state to an erratic state because cortisol and adrenaline is pumping through the body to a pleasurable state, and then back to a regular state, and then back to a erratic state. And when you're asking questions that don't follow a specific structure, the brain is going to go all over the place and different emotions are going to be going throughout the body. And then this person is going to tell you, I need to think about it, because they're feeling uncertain because you don't understand the type of questions that you're asking and you don't have a specific structure. And now your questions are all over the place. And yes, we don't want to do that. We want to ask very specific questions that go in an order, a specific order, in order for me to get a prospect into wanting to buy. And that's what R.E.D does, which is so great. R.E.D is such a powerful methodology because you can utilize it in any type of sales process. It can be for B2B sales, B2C, door-to-door, B2G, like any type of sales process, it'll work. Why? Because you're selling to a human. And all humans make buying decisions based on emotion and they justify it with logic. I can't talk today. So this structure is really, really beautiful. I'm going to go over the overview of R.E.D so that you can have a better understand. There's 9 different phases of R.E.D. Number 1, rapport questions. Number 2, current situation questions. Number 3, pain awareness questions. Number 4, past awareness questions. Number 5, future awareness questions. Number 6, ramification questions. Number 7, transition. Number 8, presentation. And number 9, commitment. And if you're in a B2B process where there's multiple calls, maybe 2, 3, 4, however long your process is, when you transition, you would just transition into a secondary call and then it kind of would start over again. And there's certain chemicals that are being released at each stage. The first stage, which is the most important, which I talked about this the other day, and it was really funny because somebody was like, oh, that's so basic. Oh, that's not really that important. Oh, like, I don't need to know this, which was mind-boggling to me because the biggest reason why you lose any type of sale is because you fuck up the beginning of your conversation. And sorry, I cuss. It's just going to come out. You fuck up the beginning of your conversation because there's something about you that causes your prospect to go into fight or flight. And that's why it's really important for you to understand the brain. So one thing that I've been doing a lot this year, and I'm by no means going to call myself an expert in any way, but one thing that I've been doing is really studying neuropsychology. I wanted to understand how humans are affected, how their behavior is affected because of the brain. So neuropsychology is study of the brain and human behavior, how it affects human behavior. I found it fascinating. The brain is so fascinating. And when I started studying and learning and more, I started relating a lot of what I was learning to sales. The first big aha that I learned was I was always so confused on why old sales training didn't work. Or like it only worked a part of the time. It felt icky. It felt awkward. I originally started in B2B sales. When I started in B2B sales, it was awful. I didn't know what I was doing. And so the first thing I did was try to buy every single sales course I can get my hands on, every single sales book. I would wake up at 4:00 in the morning. I would be studying. I would do everything possible because I didn't want to go back to my waitressing job because I was a single mom and I finally had an opportunity to have a real big girl job. So I worked my ass off studying and learning. And a lot of things that I learned worked and a lot of things that I learned didn't work and felt really awkward. And it always confused me on why people sold in that way. Like who taught that? Like why did that come up? Why is it that it feels like a boiler room or it feels like a freaking boxing match whenever you're objection handling? Like this doesn't seem like it makes sense, especially because at the same time I was learning how to do this, I was studying a lot of personal development. I worked on Tony Robbins' crew team for 3 years. I was really obsessed with how he did breakthroughs with people. I'm like, how do you have a conversation with somebody for 6 years that's living their life one way and have one conversation in 30 minutes, they live their life a completely different way? How do you take somebody from suicidal to thriving? How do you take somebody from depressed to happy? How do you take somebody that's really angry and miserable to joyous? That was always so fascinating to me. How does he do that? And so I was studying NLP, strategic intervention, trauma breakthrough. I was learning how to do all this stuff. And it made no sense to me that the way that he was allowing people to have breakthroughs and learning about the psychology was completely different than the way you would teach somebody how to get a prospect to buy from you. They were complete opposites. That made no sense until I figured out why this year. So when neuropsychology studies became more prominent, became more available, when we had major breakthroughs in neuropsychology, that wasn't until the 1990s, early 2000s. When did sales become really big? Well, sales first started, like the first sales training was created in the late 1800s. Sales became really big after World War II, boiler room sales, consultative selling, like all this stuff. During that time, we did not have major breakthroughs and understanding of how the brain worked and how humans made decisions and the emotion behind it and how it affected human behavior. Like we didn't understand that. So of course, that's why sales training doesn't work as much as we wanted it to because it's completely against how humans behave. A lot of old school sales training does one thing that makes it to where it's a numbers game. I don't believe sales is a numbers game. I believe it's a quality game, but we don't learn that. A lot of times you learn in sales, oh, it's a numbers game, hit the numbers, hit the numbers, hit the numbers. That's complete bullshit. And the reason why it was always hit the numbers is because we didn't understand the brain back then when this came out. And so the tactics and the tools that were taught, 70s, 80s, all those, in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all those tactics work against how humans want to behave. That's why it's a numbers game. That's why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Because what's happening is some of those tools and tactics actually trigger your prospect's nervous system. Because when a human meets another human, whether it's on a phone call, a Zoom, in person, when the prospect meets you, their amygdala, which is the fear center of their brain, scans subconsciously for danger. It scans the voice, your cadence, your body language, who you are. Like, it looks for danger. That's what humans do. And we have this thing called mirror neurons where, like, your nervous system will mirror somebody else. That's why if you've ever seen somebody yawn, you start yawning. Those are mirror neurons at work. And so what's happening is, like, let's say that you're in fight or flight already, you're nervous for the call, you're like rushing, whatever. Your nervous system is not calm. And because your nervous system's not calm, their nervous system picks up on it. Their brain picks up on you. And then now they're not calm. And guess what? When they're not calm, they put up a wall. And now you're going to have to work so hard for the rest of the call to get their wall to come back down because they're triggered by you. That's why it's important to understand rapport questions. At the beginning of your call is the most important vital time you have to get your prospect to calm their nervous system. And all this stuff that I'm teaching you, we just created. I'm so excited. I've been working for a year on this. I developed our R.E.D Academy, which is a 30-hour training portal that will go over every single part of the sales process for your industry, as well as go over the science, the history, the psychology, your mindset throughout the whole thing. It's launching on December 1st for $3,000 for Black Friday. You can get it right now, pre-order for $997 today. Tomorrow it's $1247, and the next day it's $1497. And then in addition to that, for free, I'm going to give you our objection handling course, our objection handling Bible, as well as our feminine sales reset. So if you want access to that, comment Black Friday on this and I'll send that over to you. It's going to be like the best thing that you've ever had. And I've literally poured my heart, soul, and tears and sweat and pain into it. So make sure that you get access to that. Let's go back in. So rapport questions. Your rapport questions is to do one thing only. You need to establish trust. What do I mean by that scientifically? I need to establish that you can trust me so that you release oxytocin in your brain, and then I will release oxytocin in my brain, and then we'll be bonded together. That's what's happening scientifically. That's why if you've ever met somebody and they just have this vibe about them and you're like, wow, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm just so drawn to this person, like, that's oxytocin working. It's because their nervous system was calm. It's connected to you. And because they're warm and inviting, right? Not like over the top enthusiastic. They just seem like calm. Like there's something about them that's grounded. We need that. That needs to happen. The second thing that I'm trying to do is establish myself as an expert. How do I establish myself as an expert? The first thing I need to do is not sound like a salesperson. Why would I not want to sound like a salesperson? Because of social conditioning. We as a society do not like salespeople. There's been so many bad stigmas of salespeople. So if you come off like a salesperson, immediately, again, the amygdala in their brain is scanning for danger. If you sound like a salesperson, they're going to immediately think the social conditioning, which is this person's trying to take advantage of me, or this person wants something from me, this person wants a commission, and all of a sudden the walls are going to go up. How do you sound like a salesperson at the beginning of the call or beginning of a conversation? Depending on what you sell. I can't tell you how many times I get like somebody in my DMs that's like, hey, this is a pitch, but if you listen to me, I'm like, immediately, I'm like, salesperson, you don't want to talk to them. Or, hey, this is a cold call. Can I just have 30 seconds of your time? Like, stop saying that. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Or you start the call, hey, this is so-and-so. The reason why I'm calling you today. Or you get on a Zoom and you're like, hey, how's the weather over there? Oh my gosh, you have kids? Me too, even though you don't have kids. Like, all the bullshit of you trying to get somebody to like you in order to buy from you is not serving you. You don't have to do that at all. You're making it way too difficult. I just need to establish myself as an expert, which means that I got to be really savvy at my tonality. I need to have self-control with myself, depending on, again, are you door knocking? Are you cold calling? Are you outbound dialing? Are you inbound? Every single one has a different strategy. All these strategies are inside of the R.E.D Academy that you'll have full access to. There's only so much I can do on this training, but the intentionality is the same. Intentionality is that you are the person that can solve their problem. If we're at the door or if we're cold calling, you need to trigger curiosity and you need to make this person feel like there would be major consequences if they don't have a conversation with you. If you're outbound dialing, you need to trigger curiosity and get this person to remember why they gave the number in the first place and get them willing to have a conversation with you, meaning that you have to speak about their outcome. You don't sell whatever you're selling. You sell outcomes of whatever you're selling. For example, if you sell SaaS, you don't sell SaaS, you sell some type of software that allows a company to reduce billable hours and to organize everything. If you're doing a software like that. And let's say that I was selling some type of accounting software. You don't sell an accounting software, you sell an ability for a company to limit their risk and lower their taxes. You don't sell a house, you sell what it does for somebody. A bigger neighborhood, a safer neighborhood, more status, a bigger room for the new baby on the way. You sell results, you sell outcomes. So it's really important that I'm consistently talking about outcomes with somebody so I can get them out of a place of fight or flight. I can get their nervous system to feel safe with me. It's extremely important. Yes? So if I'm on the beginning of a call and I'm talking to somebody, let's say I was selling fitness, right? What would be the outcome of somebody joining a fitness program? To lose weight. Yes? Maybe to keep it off. So I can start the call of like, hey, so I know that we were speaking a little bit last week about you possibly wanting to join our fitness academy so that you can lose the 20 pounds and keep it off. Can I ask what was causing you to want to look into this, right? So I'm talking about outcome and I'm getting an intention. After I go through my rapport phase and really set the tone of the call, the next phase is current situation, phase 2, fact-based questions. All the facts. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for problems. Every woman's very good at this. Every woman can find problems. Every woman has a secret FBI agent, and you can find things. You all know that I was able to do that shit. So you can find things, okay? So it's really important that you're asking questions to find what's wrong. Look for what's wrong. Don't just find one problem. Find 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problems. The more problems you find, the more tension builds in the body. I'm trying to get this person from where they are right now to where they want to be. And the more problems I find and the more reasons they want to change, the bigger this tension grows. And then the more tension, the more that they have to do something about it, meaning buying from you. So I'm looking for problems. I also can pre-handle spousal objections. I can pre-handle business partner objections, your CFO objection, anything I can pre-handle it here. And I'm asking them and finding info. Again, if you're wanting to do this more in depth, comment Black Friday and we'll give you access to our 30-hour R.E.D Academy. It's going to be everything that you need in there. Number 3, pain awareness. From the problems, how is it affecting them pain-wise? And showing you how to go layer, because once I ask questions about pain, what happens is they release cortisol and adrenaline in the body. The body goes into fight or flight intentionally. And I'm getting them to feel the pain of the situation that they're in. Most people don't know the real situation. Most people are in a relationship that they don't liking. They're in a body that they don't like. They're in a job that they don't like. People sit in what they don't like and they don't think about it because their brain is wired for survival. So their brain makes them feel like, hey, it's fine. And that's why they don't change. Humans don't like change. Every human has a deep fear of change. That's why people are complaining about a relationship that they don't get out of because they don't like to change. So my job as a salesperson is to get them to want to change. How do I get them to want to change? Is by bringing up pain from the situation and get them to really feel it, which means I'm gonna have to slow down and get them to feel what's going on. And it doesn't matter if I'm talking to a mom at home or if I'm talking to a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Every humans have pain. And I get them to feel the pain, how it's affecting the company, how it's affecting their family, how it's affecting them. Like I really sit and get them to feel this. Once I do that, I go into my next phase. Phase 4, past awareness. This is the most brilliant phase because I can basically find any type of red flag and pre-handle any objection before the end of the call. Your goal as a salesperson is to not have any type of sales objections. Especially if you get an objection to like, I need to think about it, it means that you don't know how to get pain out of a conversation. Anytime you hear, I need to think about it, that means your skill level is low. And I don't mean that to be mean. It's just important for us to have an awareness around this so that we can increase this skill level so that we never have to worry about anything again. So important. Skills pay the bills. The higher the skill, the higher of the money in your bank account. Increase your skill level. Skill level will change everything for you. So past awareness, I basically find any red flags, any ways of thinking that's not going to serve me. So for example, like let's say I'm talking to somebody and we're selling roofing and they're looking for a new roof. And I say before today, what have you been doing in order to replace the roof on your house so that you don't have that leak anymore? And they say, well, we've talked to 4 different contractors in this past week. Like that's a huge red flag. If somebody told me that they've talked to 4 other people, I'm like, okay, so what has caused this person not to buy? What's holding this person back? What's going on? And if I ask that earlier in the call, I can pre-handle all that stuff before I get to the end. If I wait till the end, guess what? When we talk about price, there's automatically going to be fear around money. And now they're already in fight or flight. It's going to be harder for them to listen, harder for me to overcome those objections. So it's really, really, really important. Step 5, future awareness. When I get somebody to envision what it's like once I find those problems that we found together, and once they imagine what it would be like once they're solved, they release oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin in their brain. They imagine a future memory that hasn't happened yet. This is why selling like this is so powerful. This is why you have to do this with integrity. Because I'm taking somebody from a very, very low emotional state to a high emotional state, and I put them back down into an emotional low state. It's the same type of feeling as a heroin addiction or a toxic relationship, which is why you have to sell with integrity. If you don't believe that you can help this person, you should not be selling to them. Your job is to find a problem, and if you can solve that problem, you offer a solution. And you don't offer at the beginning. Do not be a freaking product vomiter. Blech. We can do this. We have the best this, the best that, blah, 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 blah. And you just word vomit on people. Like, stop. Stop the freaking madness. You don't need to do that. Okay. Lastly, ramification questions. I get them to imagine future pain if they don't change. So I get them to think about what's going to happen if they don't buy right now and what's going to happen in their future and get them to really feel that. And then I transition them. So from that point, I've taken them through an emotional low, emotional high, emotional low. I put so much tension in their body. And then I'm like, hey, from everything you're telling me, I can help you. And they're like, yes, please help me. And then I transition into a secondary call, third call, fourth call, if I'm B2B, B2G, or I transition them into a presentation. And I show them how, from everything they're telling me, I can be the person that can help solve their problem. And this is why XYZ. I tell them the price. I tell them that that's going to get them their outcome. And then we walk into commitment and easily ask if they believe that this is going to solve all their problems for them. They say yes, I say why. And it's really interesting because people believe that the presentation is supposed to be a long time. Like, no, your presentation should be like 5, maybe 10% of your call. The sale does not happen at the end of the call. It happens at the beginning and the middle. Sales does not have to be hard. It can be easy. I'm going to show you how to do this. Again, we build a 30-hour sales academy. Like this is the one training that's going to help you have the best 2026 that you possibly have. I wish that this was built out for me when I was in sales. I wish. Nah, it's not, but I made it specifically for you. In addition to all the sales training, you also have a lot of mindset. I have tools in there, a meditation, a breath work, a tapping session, like all this additional stuff is there to help you and is going to absolutely change your world. It's going to change the way you sell. It's going to increase your close rate. Like you want to get your hands on this. Again, it launches December 1st for $3,000. For Black Friday, you can get pre-launch access right now. So it's $997 for day 1 for today. For tomorrow, the price goes up to $12,497, and then the next day it goes up to $14,997 until Black Friday. So get access to this right now. If you have any questions, just message me, message my team. Happy to help you as much as I possibly can. Comment Black Friday. We'll send you over access. Again, you will get access on December 1st. So in the meantime, for absolute free, I'm going to give you my objection handling course, which is normally $997, as well as my objection handling Bible. So you can learn how to overcome objections, and our feminine reset, which is a meditation, a breath work, and a EFT tapping so that you can calm your nervous system down so you don't trigger somebody at the beginning of your conversations. I hope that this was helpful. Guys, like, you want to get access to this. It's going to be absolutely epic. Like, this is my gift to you. You get to have your hands on it. I honor all of you. I hope they all have an amazing day. Go freaking crush it. Bye, guys. Again, this here.